By the side of the highway leading to Jakarta, the capital of Middle Java, near the dangerous Merapi volcano, there is a world-famous monument. This is the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Borobudur. The huge Buddhist stupa pyramid is usually mentioned together with the Angkor Wat in Cambodia or the Pagan in Burma, Myanmar. This wonderful piece of architecture was built during the rule of the Buddhist Salyendra kings between 750 and 850 AD. That is exactly 1,200 years ago. Approximately 60,000 cubic meters of stone was carved and laid without mortar for the construction of Borobudur. Its name is of Sanskrit origin and it means a Buddhist monastery on the top of the hill. The fall of Buddhism in Java and the depopulation of the area, but especially the destructive eruptions of the nearby Merapi volcano, sent Borobudur into oblivion. Similar to Pompeii, the volcanic ash almost completely covered the decaying stupa pyramid. The archaeological excavation of the site began in 1815 by the order of the earlier mentioned British Governor of Java, Sir Stanford Raffles. The actual renovation continued at the beginning of the past century in the Dutch colonial era. Unfortunately, this was accompanied by the sinking of the colossal-sized building on the otherwise badly drained area. With significant funding from abroad, the decade-long efforts that began in 1973 to stabilise the building were successful already in the Indonesian times. In 1985, the rebels opposing Suharto, the president at the time, exploded bombs in the upper part of the stupa, causing serious damage to the sculptures in that section. After the restoration, Borobudur was officially declared a World Heritage Site in 1991. The massive structure was constructed by fitting 2 million stone blocks together. The square-shaped 118 by 118 metre symmetrical stupa, which may be the largest Buddhist temple in the world, sits on a smaller hill. You can count 2,672 relief panels on the side walls. The inside of the stupa is solid, so there are no kinds of temples in it. Entering the site at the eastern gate, you can go around the various platforms in a clockwise direction. The carvings at the bottom platform symbolise the level of desires, where most of humanity lives. In these images, the figures are sometimes sketchy and ape-like. At the same time, we can get an idea about how people lived here and how they dressed more than 1,000 years ago. The second level is an intermediate space. Here, in the open corridors, you can follow the story of Prince Siddhartha from his birth to his enlightenment and the rest of his life, all the way until his death. Elephants and tigers, musicians and dancing girls, kings and queens come to life on the reliefs here. A Buddha statue sits at each turn, facing every point of the compass. The hand position of the northern Buddha means, don't be afraid. The hands of the Buddha in the south indicate generosity and healing. The eastern Buddha invokes knowledge and the teachings of the unity of practice, while the Buddha in the west sits in the lotus posture, smiling with his hands in a meditative position. Buddhists believe that touching the Buddha's toes will bring you luck. You can reach the big central stupa after first climbing the 6th square, then the 3 circular platforms. The huge Buddhist temple looks like a giant mandala from above. On the top floor, among the Buddhas sitting inside his 72 perforated stupas and circles, stands the main dome of Borobudur, the big closed stupa. Up here, with this beautiful view of the surrounding mountains and palm coves, you will understand that Borobudur is the physical embodiment of properly directed meditation. For the high tropical storm water runoff, the huge structure is protected by a drainage system and gargoyles. Borobudur is the most famous historical, religious and cultural monument in Indonesia, visited by a multitude of domestic and foreign tourists and Buddhist pilgrims every day. The most ideal time to visit is early morning or late afternoon right before sunset. The entry ticket gives you access to the Karma Wibanga Archaeological Museum, which is located on the grounds of the archaeological park, not far from the stupa. You can see around 4,000 original sculptures and carvings here, along with a photo exhibition documenting the restoration works. In the larger general area of the main Borobudur stupa, there are several smaller, restored original Buddhist stupas as well.